The Malott family has been wonderful, an integral part of the University of Kansas for 74 years, 3/4 of a century.
Bob Malott's family brought him to KU when his father, Dean, became chancellor in 1939. Growing up on Mount Oread, Bob gained great appreciation for the legacy his family created at KU. A legacy Bob has carried on through continued service and donations back to the university, including strongly supporting the University Women's Club, which meets regularly in the Malott Room of the Student Union.
In 2011, we wanted to provide a wall in the Malott Room to commemorate her and the many contributions that she's made here at the campus. And when I called Bob, I was very surprised. He said, "Carolyn, I would like to commission a portrait of my mother for the room." We decided that it would be wonderful if we could have a portrait with flowers in it, because that is her legacy, really, is beautifying the campus.
I proposed that we do a different kind of painting. Instead of just doing a head and shoulders, we might want to look at something a little more unique. We sought some pictures that might have her be with flowers or a bush or something, and came across this wonderful, it was a black and white photo of her posed next to a spirea bush. I thought this would be terrific.
What is so fitting is that Bob has such an appreciation for his parents' contribution to KU, but also what KU has contributed to him and his continued contributions to the university. I think is just fabulous, and particularly for the University Women's Club. It's meant so much to us to have his encouragement and support and really friendship.
As a life member of the Alumni Association, a KU Endowment Life Trustee, and Chancellor's Club member, Bob Malott has been a strong leader as a volunteer and donor for over 50 years.
I've had the opportunity to see Bob Malott relate with several chancellors of KU, and he has provided invaluable counsel and advice to chancellors. As an individual who has a strong connection to KU through his family, but also with his professional accomplishments as chairman and CEO of FMC Corporation, he knows what large, complex organizations are about, and he's been invaluable to multiple chancellors in providing advice, assistance, counsel.
In 1997, I was working for Chancellor Hemingway in his office as the campus architect. He came in and said, "Warren, we need to build a visitor center where visitors can come easily to the campus." And so we took the old cafeteria and kitchen in Templin Hall at 15th and Iowa and made a visitor center. But then we needed to do some landscaping and make a front gate to the university. So the Chancellor said, "Why don't I call Bob Malott and see if he would fund that, or fund part of it?" And he says, "What's it going to cost, Warren?" I said, "My estimate's $800,000. He said, "I'll send him a letter and ask him for half of it, $400,000. He did. A couple of weeks later, Bob Malott called me and said, "Warren, are you guys crazy?" He said, way out west, that's farmland out there. Is 15th Street paved yet?" And I said, "Bob, 50 years ago, no, it wasn't, but you and I were here in the 40s. Come down and let's look at it." So he did. And we saw the corner here with 40,000 cars a day, and we saw Albemarle Golf Course and Clinton Lake. He says, "My gosh, it's changed." So he went back home to Chicago. About a month later, the Chancellor comes rushing into my office with a letter, waving it, says, "Read this." He was excited. And I read it, and the first sentence said, "Well, your Mr. Corman says we need a new visitor center out there and a new gateway," and we could name it the Malott Gateway. He said it's going to cost $800,000, so I'm sending $1 million. And that was all. I handed it back and said, "Oh my gosh." And Bob said, "You didn't read the footnote." So I looked at the footnote. It says, "We all know Mr. Corman's a terrible estimator. He said $800,000. I'm sending $1 million just to cover him." So we did. We built it for $775,000, I think. And the extra money has gone into endowment to maintain it forever.
One of the great traditions at KU, and what makes KU really special, is a sense of family. And when I think about Bob Malott, the Malott family, and their connections with KU, I mean, Bob has such a strong history and tradition in the Malott family with KU. Here's someone who, in his childhood, growing up in the Outlook, the Chancellor's residence, attending KU, being a KU basketball letterman, and what he accomplished in his professional career, and then maintaining those ties with KU. I think Bob Malott views KU as family. I mean, and how could he not? It's where he grew up, and where his with his father being chancellor. I mean, it is family.